So the main reason I'm making this video is that it's just been really hard to find raids lately because of how dead the game has been. But I know everybody loves John LFG, and I love John LFG too. He is awesome. A little expensive, but very awesome. And since I'm having a hard time getting good raids to share with you guys, I thought I would at least explain some of what goes into John LFG for those of you guys who are interested in that. So the background footage is pretty much just me. Well, this isn't background footage, this is a live commentary. But I'm pretty much just doing the boring seasonal grind. If you guys know me, you know I absolutely hate the seasonal grind. It is one of the most boring things in the world to me. Like, the objectives are just, going to places and, like, picking flowers, ruining the experience for match-made teammates, just all this stuff, and I am not a fan of it. Looks like I missed one of the flowers. I guess I just walked right past it like a big dum-dum. So I'm gonna go back and get that now. So I don't normally make live commentaries. I've pretty much always done like voiceovers after the fact. So I'm definitely gonna be curious what you guys think about this. Let me know if you want to see this kind of thing more. I think it's the diamond was pointing right in there. Like, if you're going fast, you're gonna miss it. Whatever. What do we do now? Oh, okay. Now we go back in again. But yeah, instead of complaining, I figured I could talk about sort of what I do at John LFG. Holy crap. John LFG is kind of a weird thing because this isn't really something you can see in a lot of other games. A lot of games, you'll have people make alts and act like noobs, but the account is new and that's basically it. There's no other gimmick to it, Like, you just go on a low rank account and you play the game like you're a good player, except you look new. But this is a little bit different because there's like actual limitations in being a Guardian rank 2. Like with the lack of abilities on light subclasses, like I don't have access to Ember of Benevolence or Ember of Empyrean on Solar. Two very big fragments if you play the game at all. And then the other part of it is not having access to armor mods or weapon mods. You can see all my armor is not modded. I also can't masterwork the armor, which is pretty hurtful for my stats. Like, I actually have pretty good armor right now. I almost get 100 resilience. I get between 80 and 100 pretty much always, literally just on my base armor and my subclass. Like, if I put on, I think, Starfire, I get 100, but obviously that's not very helpful. But yeah, I get pretty good stats, but it's kind of crazy because if I could masterwork this armor, it would just, it would be a plus 10 to everything, and that would put me over 100 with no mods. But yeah, I don't get to use mods. And you can see I can't masterwork it either, so that's fun. I also can't use weapon mods either, so that slot just gets to stay empty. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, I can't even equip them if they show up there. So one of the things I always have had fun with on John LFG was just having a funny name and basically joining groups and just immediately being recognizable, because, I don't exactly blend in. Like, there's a giant 2 next to my name, which literally nobody has, like in raids and stuff. So it's kind of hilarious that you can join endgame activities as a Guardian rank 2, and I'm kind of glad you can. Although I won't lie, I think the restrictions are kind of annoying. I don't really see why they're there. I feel like it could just be stuff that like the tutorial process is kind of going through the Guardian ranks until like 5 or 6. And I feel like instead of restricting you from using those things until you hit the tutorial, they could just not explain it until you hit the tutorial. And then that way, if you're following the tutorial, you kind of get that organic growth that they were going for. But if you don't want that because you like already know it, or it's really simple, or you played Destiny 1 before or anything like that, you could still have access to everything and kind of try it out, Like, especially since the new light experience isn't that good, I could see a lot of like new people watching like a guide video on how to start off their character, and like the guide video just like doesn't follow what the in-game tutorial does, and it might cause confusion in that regard. So I kind of think just letting people start the game how they want would be a good thing. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do here. Oh, I guess I'm following this proximity sensor thing. But yeah, I think in general the tutorial definitely needs some work. I think the biggest thing that Bungie could do is add a good new light experience and start advertising the game to the like wider public again. I think that's really what they need to do. Like, they've lost so many players now that they need to just start pulling in new ones and improving the social experience. that's really what keeps people playing a lot of the time, is like having a good social experience. Like, you look at a lot of like fun characters or fun series, like I think LFG Bingo is probably my favorite example of this. LFG Bingo came out, or like started right before, what is it, happened? Right before End of the Light. And before End of the Light, the game was pretty boring. It was kind of a low sentiment time again. And then Into the Light came out and kind of helped with that. But before that, it was pretty boring. It was kind of like a low point in Destiny. You know, we have those sometimes. And LFG Bingo came out, and it kind of blossomed because of that, because there was still a decent social experience where you could go join LFGs and it would be funny and it would be silly. But now it's getting to the point where there's not even a lot of people playing LFGs, and the ones that are just like either like boring speedrunners, but not even like the cool kind of speedrunners where they're like actually good at the game. It's just those like semi like people who kind of care about their API time speedrunners. And I never really understood that, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I know it's kind of like cool to see low times, I guess, but I don't know, that was never really fun to me. Like, when I'm going on LFG, I'm trying to play a raid like kind of normally. And so when people are just like when I join a group and they just kind of do everything for me and I'm just ag clear or whatever, you know, it's really boring to me. But I could also see that being nice for people who are just trying to get the loot and get out too, because they're just kind of getting carried. But that is actually one of the runs I did recently that I didn't include just because it was really boring. I joined one of those like awkward semi-speedrun groups on DSC. We got like a 21-minute time, but I didn't do anything. They hit the skips, like 2-3 skip and everything. And so we went through it pretty quickly, but I don't know, it just really wasn't that fun. Everybody was pretty quiet. I think somebody recognized me though, which was pretty cool. Somebody just like randomly asked me if I am a fan of Trench Barrel. And I think that was them hinting that they knew me. So that was really cool, but unfortunately the run wasn't really that fun overall otherwise. But you know, maybe if I get a bunch of boring raids that have a few good points, then I'll be able to make like a cut out of that. But right now I only have like 2 raids that I've been able to get into that actually even looked fun, and both of them weren't that good. So the seasonal quests, man, I really hope they improve them or make it so you don't have to do them or something, because, man, I do not like seasonal stories. They really just put a bunch of like the triangle things you pick up into a plant and just call that a pickup? No way. That's honestly kind of funny, but oh man. That is so lazy. But yeah, the game design lately with Bungie has been kind of funny. I can't lie. It's kind of clear that a lot of it is a little lazy or low effort. And I mean, it kind of makes sense with all the layoffs that happen. But a lot of it's at least kind of like creative or silly or goofy. And so I still find it pretty respectable, even if it is like lower effort than a lot of stuff used to be. Kind of like the triangle flower there. Also, it looks like we have a fellow Guardian Rank 2 on this Breach executable, but I guess he's not playing the game right now. I bet he's just like me. Yeah, pretty much the exact same. But yeah, about the channel, I'm so happy that John LFG's been doing really well. In general, I know John LFG's kind of been a loved character in like Discord and everything whenever I bring him up, or he comes up, we talk about Guardian Rank 2 or whatever it is. Everybody does like John LFG, but it's a whole nother thing to see like the YouTube algorithm like John LFG, I guess, or like to have people actually click on videos about John LFG. Because normally when you make videos that are not about like your normal topic, which for me is like informational stuff about the meta, you normally get really bad views, like really bad numbers. And switching topics has been the death of many people's channels in the past. So I'm really happy to see that like John LFG is actually loved, and I think it's actually something I could pivot into. One of the things I really like about it is just that it's actually me. You know, doing the informational content, I do like doing it, and I definitely don't want to just stop for good or anything like that, or I'm definitely not going to just completely stop right now. But it's pretty much entirely based around having an interesting meta that changes somewhat frequently, and that really hasn't been happening lately. But John LFG is basically about me being entertaining, and, you know, I like having my content be about me, right? That just kind of makes sense. And that's kind of what the difference is for me, at least. It's a little more personal, and I definitely feel more encouraged to make it, like, higher quality. But yeah, even if Destiny dies, I think if I'm gonna make it anywhere on YouTube, it's probably gonna be doing these like overpowered noob style things. Like, you know, maybe I can be whatever the Guardian Rank 2 is of another game in the future. This is something a lot of people don't know about me, but I actually used to do Minecraft Bed Wars, which is, you know, completely ridiculous for like Destiny players. Like, I don't think I've met anybody else that ever played that in Destiny, because they're just such different things. But it's actually what I used to do when I was a little bit younger, and I even tried making videos about it some. And one thing I did do was make an alt and join public games as like super low star account while playing at a high level, and it was a ton of fun. I got some funny reactions, and I think that's definitely the kind of thing I'm gonna go for in general as sort of my place on YouTube, I guess. So hopefully that's a good explanation for sort of where I stand with things and some of my plans going forward. I'm definitely gonna ride Destiny as long as I can. I've never been better at a game than I have been at Destiny, which is probably kind of a sad thing because there's still a lot of people that are a lot better than me at the game. But regardless, it's definitely one of my favorite games ever. It's had a lasting impact on me. If you guys don't know, I actually played the Destiny 1 beta back in like early 2014. And I actually remember it specifically because that was the first game I'd ever played, and I want to say it was one of the first games ever, if not the first, to have like emotes in game. Like, you could just bust it down and start dancing in the middle of the game, and I'd never had that before in another game. I'm sure that some smaller title probably had it before, or even some bigger one that I just didn't play, but it was my first time experiencing that, and I thought that that was absolutely awesome. But I didn't actually play Year 1 very much because I was like a 14-year-old or something, and so I had like school and stuff, and yeah, I didn't really play the game very much. I never got all that into it. But later on into Destiny 1, I did get pretty into it, like in Rise of Iron and all that. And obviously, throughout all of Destiny 2, I've been relatively endgame, you could say. And so yeah, I just kind of have a lot of experience playing Destiny, and I kind of, you know, I just kind of know how it goes, and it's definitely one of the games that I am at my best at. It's basically either that or Minecraft. But yeah, for right now, I'm basically just making this video as sort of an intermediary video until I can get another one up, because I haven't made a full video in like a week now, and that kind of sucks. Pretty much ever since I started last year, back in August last year, so just over a year now, coming back with Destiny in my most recent attempt, which has also been my most successful. Pretty much had a video out every like, dude, I cannot use my melee attacks. Please? No? Okay. There we go. Yeah, so I've pretty much had a video out every, like, at least every week. For the most part, actually, every 3 to 4 days. But at least every week, I've pretty much always had a video out for the last entire year, which is kind of crazy to think about that I've been consistent like that. And it's been working. Consistency really is key. Like, that's what it comes down to when it comes to YouTube, for sure. And this is probably the longest I've gone without making a full video, but I at least started doing shorts lately. I don't know how much you guys like that, but I think it's at least something to do between videos, sort of. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing with the shorts lately. Unfortunately, it's been hard to make like actual informational videos because there's literally nothing happening for the last like 3 weeks, and there's probably nothing happening for 2 more weeks until the next season drops. And once that drops, I'll probably make some more informational videos. But right now, we're just kind of messing around a little bit, doing our own thing, and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I'm basically making this video because I haven't been able to find a good raid for like a week. I have been trying. I've been raiding like every other day and just not finding fun teams. And then today I tried to join a raid, and it was like just after the maintenance ended, so it was extra dead. And I actually got a screenshot with all but one of the raid channels just not being talked in at all at once, which is like unheard of for an LFG server that has like 6 figures of members. Like, it is one of the biggest servers in the world, I'm pretty sure, for Discord. And it still just, nobody's looking for raids right now. And so yeah, I decided to just make this instead because I was a little sad about that. So yeah, once I can get a fun raid, I will be posting that. That'll probably be my next video. Maybe even my next 2 videos, because we have 2 weeks before the next season. So I'm hoping, I really would like to get 2 videos out in that time. That would be nice, but I am a little doubtful with how bad the LFG has been. And I would use Fireteam Finder because I think that's hilarious. But they actually, whoops, they actually don't let you use the Fireteam Finder until you're Guardian rank 5. So I'm just kind of not able to use that. If you guys know any ways to work around that, I would love to know it. If I can have somebody like bring me in maybe, and then have them quit. I don't know. I don't really have anybody to do that for me, but I guess that would probably be a way to do it. But yeah, I would love to be able to use the Fireteam Finder. It's a lot of fun. I did it a few times on my main account, and they were definitely lower skill groups than what I was getting from like the Discord. But I imagine there's probably more of them too with it being in game. There's probably more people doing it. Anyways, I'm probably gonna wrap up the video here. Let me know in the comments if you guys like this style video, if I should come back and do this kind of thing more every so often. Especially whenever I'm doing kind of the long, boring grinds that take a while. I would definitely be happy to just, you know, talk a little bit about the channel, talk about John LFG, talk about whatever, background of that. So yeah. Also, I got a comment, actually I got a few comments on the last John LFG video, and they were telling me that they thought it was a little bit anticlimactic that I didn't do an outro on that video. So I thought that I would go ahead and